Captain, I can see you. Captain, he's moving on the ice. Look over there.
The captain looked to the north. He put his telescope to his eye. He could see some dogs pulling a sledge over the ice and a huge figure, much bigger than a man. It went behind a mountain of ice and disappeared. Suddenly, another sledge appeared. It was moving fast, chasing the first sledge. It was disappeared behind the mountain of ice. Early in the morning, the sailor saw that the great piece of ice were floating around the ship. Suddenly, the sailor on the mast shouted again.
Captain, I can see a man on the ice.
A man was sitting on the ice with a broken sledge. The man was nearly dead from cold and could not walk. The sailors carried him carefully onto the ship.
Welcome to my ship. I'm the captain, and my name is Robert Walton.
Thank you, Captain Walton. My name is Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein.
2 days passed before the man was strong enough to talk, and then the captain asked him to tell his story.
I'm trying to catch sun. That's why I came so far north on the ice.
We saw you following someone. He was huge, more huge than a man. We saw his sledge just in the front of you the night before the storm.
I'm happy and pleased you saw that. Perhaps that will help you to believe my story.
Frankenstein wrote down his story, and each evening he read what he had written to the captain. Here is Victor Frankenstein's story.
My name is Victor Frankenstein. I grew up in Geneva, Switzerland. My mother wished to have a daughter, but My name is Victor Frankenstein. I grew up in Geneva, Switzerland. My mother wished to have a daughter, but she could not. After 5 years, she adopted a poor little girl with golden hair and blue eyes. Her name was Elizabeth. Later, she had my brother, William Frankenstein. Then, a young woman called Justine came to live in the house to help my mother with the children.
The years passed happily, and they had everything that they needed. At school, he met a young boy named Henry Clerval and became very good friends. He studied very hard. He was curious about how to make living things.
One day, when I was 15 years old, we were at our country house. We were having so much fun that day. At the night, a huge and massive storm came, and I was sitting next to a window just watching the storm getting bigger and bigger. Then it happened, the event that dealt me to create that thing. A huge thunder hit an oak tree. And for my surprise, the tree didn't burn, it just turned out into small little pieces of wood. After that, I started getting interest on electricity and its terrible power, and I started reading all about it.
For 7 years, Frankenstein's life. Then the first sad thing happened. His mother became very ill. Before to die, she asked Elizabeth and Victor to go to her room.
Dear Victor and Elizabeth, I'm very happy because you love each other and because one day you will get married. Everyone in the family loves you, Elizabeth. Will you take my place in the family, my dear? I can die happy if you will look after them when I have gone.
His mother died. It was time for Victor to go to university. He did not want to leave his family, but all family knew that he should go. His friend, Henry Clerval, would not let him go to the university, so he had to go alone.
At my school, I met my teacher, the great Professor Waldman. For me, he's one of the greatest scientists of all time. Here are some words that he said to me.
You will be the great scientist tomorrow. Work hard and discover everything that you can. That's why God made you intelligent, to help other people.
Victor worked very hard, and soon Professor Wallman realized that Victor could learn to be a very good scientist. He helped Victor very much. For 2 years, Victor worked harder and built a machine. He believed this machine will help him to answer the most important questions of all. How does life begin? Is it possible to put life into dead things? He studied about death. He watched the dying and the dead. It was a terrible time. One day, he discovered the secret of life. The professor gave him a laboratory. Victor built a very tall mast that could catch lightning and send the electricity down to this machine in the laboratory. He believed he could use it to give life to things that were dead.
For a year, I started working secretly in my laboratory. I bought and installed human body parts for making my creation. Then, when I finished making it, it looked horrible. It looked frightening. It was disgusting seeing it. I didn't like the result, but what can I do? One day, I decided to destroy it, but something was stopping me. So, I finally connect the thing to the machine that I was creating. And then, one night, at 1 o'clock, a huge and massive storm came to the town. And a thunder hit the mass that I have created and gave life to it. The thing started moving around, making strange noises. I was scared and afraid of that thing. The only thing I could do was screaming, and then I ran outside of my laboratory and left that thing there.
For an hour, he woke up and down in his flat until he lay down on his bed. He woke up suddenly, and the creature was standing by his bed. The creature made strange sounds and tried to reach him with his huge hands. Before he could touch him, Victor jumped off the bed and ran downstairs into the garden and walked all night and came to the station. A train from Geneva arrived, and one of the passengers ran toward him. It was his dear friend, Henry Clerval.
My dear Victor, what a lucky chance that you're here at the station. Your father, Elizabeth, and the others are very worried about you, because you have not visited them for a long time. They asked me to make sure that you are well, and I have very good news. My father has allowed me to study at the university, so we should be able to spend a lot of time together.
Victor was very happy to hear this news. He took Henry back to his flat and him to wait outside while he went in to look. He was afraid to find the creature, but it had disappeared. Victor prepared the dinner. Henry noticed how thin Victor was.
My dear Victor, what is the matter with you? Are you ill? Has something terrible happened?
Don't ask me that. I can tell you. Save me! Henry, save me!
Henry called a doctor and put Victor to bed. He was very ill for 2 months, and Henry stayed and looked after him. Victor prepared his luggage to go home and see his family. A postman arrived with some letters. One of them ended his short time of happiness. The letter was from his father in Geneva. He explained that his brother William was murdered. They found him next morning with some mark of fingers on his neck. He was strangled. Elizabeth let him wear a gold chain, and they believed the murderer wanted to steal it. Elizabeth was terribly sad, and Victor was the only one who could help her. Victor caught the train to reach Geneva. He decided to spend the night in a village outside the town and go home early in the morning. He wanted to see the place where William had died. He went to walk and see the creature that he had made. He realized he had murdered his brother. He decided to tell the police his story, but nobody would believe him. He went home to his family.
My dear son, we're very pleased to see you. My dear son, we're very pleased to see you. The police have found the murder. Perhaps you will think that this was good news, but I can note you who the police have arrested. A few days after the murder, the police have searched in the house and have searched the house and found the gold chain on Justin's coat pocket. We knew that she had not murdered William. We're sure she will be free after the trial because nobody could believe she was a murderer.
The trial did not go well for Justin. The judge decided that she was the murderer. The punishment for murder was death. Victor went to Judge's house and told him about the monster. He did not believe him. The family spent many hours with Justin in the prison until her execution. The family came home. One morning, the creature got close to Victor.
I am the unhappiest creature in this world. It is your fault. Both of them are dead. You don't love me. You're my creator, and you don't love me?
Shut up! You're an evil creature. I should kill you if I can. You have killed 2 people that I love.
You say I'm a killer? I'm a killer? You are my creator, and you don't love me. That is not my fault.
Shut up! We're enemies. Leave me now and let us fight until one of us is dead.
I will not start this fight because I should love you. Unlike you, come with me. I'm gonna tell you my story, and then you will decide my fate.
Victor thought about what the creature was saying. He was his creator. He decided to listen to what he had to say. The creature told him to follow him. He led him to a hut, a few hundred feet below the top of the mountain. It was there that the monster told him his story.
It all started when I escaped. I ran to the forest. I didn't know what to do. I was like a baby born. I had no idea. I was just born. So my first food was fruit and water from the river. I felt hungry. One day, I was so happy because I found what was left of a campfire. I felt like someone who was happy for the first time. I saw it. It gave me warmth. But when I touched it, it burned me. I started crying. My first time I met a human, it was a man in a hut. He was making breakfast. I just came to him and tried to talk to him even though I can't. Sir? You see, I didn't know why he ran. I didn't know I was so ugly. Something similar happened when I went to a village. I started walking through the main street. Everyone was doing stuff. And when I just came, everyone started screaming and started throwing things at me. The first thing that happened is that I ran. I went to the forest again. I didn't know how ugly I was. I was just sad. It was just sadness in me.
The monster told Victor how he found a small cottage where he slept at night and hid in the woods during the day. He found a small crack in the wall and discovered that 3 people lived there.
Day after day, I watched them. I saw how happy they were. I want to feel that. They were so beautiful. One night, I tried stealing food from them, but then I saw how poor they were. They didn't have any food, so instead, I tried helping them. I went and collect stuff for them to do fire again, for them to eat.
It was springtime when things changed. Another young woman came to live in the cottage. Her name was Safi. Felix greeted her with warmth. I discovered they love each other and they plan to marry each other. On a beautiful autumn day, Agatha, Felix, and Safi went into town. The old man was left alone in the cottage. The monster knocked on the door.
Excuse me, may I come in?
Who is there? Come in.
I'm a traveler. and I need a fire to give me warmth. Is it the more problem?
I'm afraid I can be of much help to you. I have some food. We have some little. You speak my language. Are you French?
Yes, but I was taught by a family from Germany.
And what brings you to
I want to see that family that taught me how to speak. They taught me everything I know, but they don't know me. And I'm afraid that they will run away.
Don't worry, stranger. If these people are good, I just never chase you away. Why should they?
You can help me. You can save me. It's Safi who I'm talking about. It's Julie. Please, help me.
Great God, where are you?
The monster fell to his knees and wrapped his arms around the old man's leg.
Save me! Save me!
The cottage door opened. Then the three young people walked in and saw the monster. Agatha fainted, and Safi ran screaming from the cottage. Felix turned the monster away from the old man. He picked up a stick and began to hit the monster. The monster didn't hurt them because he loved them, so he ran away from the cottage. Next morning, the monster went to the cottage, but the family already ran away. He was deeply sad.
Day after day, I thought about you, Frankenstein. It was your fault I was so unhappy. Why did you make me this ugly? It is not my fault. I had your book. I saw your address and I started a journey to find you. One night, I found a crack in a wall where I was safe for that night when I saw a beautiful child passing through. You see, I didn't thought he would thought I was so ugly, so I just grabbed him by his hand.
Ah! Let me go, you monster!
Come on with me, or I will hurt you.
No, I won't go with you. My papa is an important man. He's Mr. Frankenstein. Don't you dare hurt me.
I tried to shutting him, so I just grabbed him by his throat, and then, because I was so strong, he died. I saw he had a gold chain. And I found a beautiful woman in the woods. I just put it on her neck, thinking policemen would think she killed him. Then I just ran away and came for you.
So it was your fault that William and Justin is dead? You were the one that killed William?
Yes, it was not my fault. Why did you make me this ugly? If I had company, I wouldn't have done anything of that.
I shall do what you ask. But you must promise to me to live somewhere else in the world.
I promise. I'll go away forever, for eternity. I will not be here. But you should do what you're promising to me.
I'll start my work.
Okay, so day after day, I'll watch you, every step you made. And remember, don't try to trace me.
Victor went back home. Victor spoke with his father about to go to university to continue with his studies. His father asked,
Are you going to marry Elizabeth or do you love another woman?
Of course, Dad. I love Elizabeth, and I will marry her. But before that, I have to do one more piece of scientific work.
Henry and Victor reached London and stayed for a few months. Henry was invited to visit some friends in Scotland. Victor went to the mountains alone with all things needed for he stayed on an empty hut on an island. The woman was almost finished. The monster was outside waiting for his wife. Victor went to his laboratory and destroyed the woman.
I can't do it. I won't do it. I will not turn another monster like you into the world.
What are you doing, Frankenstein? Remember, I have power! You can't do this to me! You promised it!
And I break my promise. I won't do it. Go away. Leave me now.
Okay, but remember, I will curse the day you were born. I will make you regret every day of your life.
The monster ran quickly out of the laboratory. he left the island in his boat and sailed away across the sea. Victor sat and cried as he thought of the danger to Elizabeth. The next morning, he received a letter from Henry asking him to return. He went to clean the laboratory and went to sleep in the boat. The storm woke him up. He was in the middle of the sea. He was on land until the morning.
Victor Frankenstein, you will come with me. I will take you to the judge and then to the jail.
I'm sad to hear about the murder, but I'm not worried because I didn't do it.
Victor was taken to the room where the dead body lay.
No! Henry! My dear friend! What have I done?
The third death was too much for Victor. He fell down and was very ill for 2 months. He wished to die. His father came and carried him to their home. Before to go, he gave a letter written by Elizabeth.
My dearest Victor, I'm so happy to know that you will soon be home. Do you still want to marry me? I love you, Victor. Wait until you arrive before you give your answer. With all my love, Elizabeth.
Victor replied immediately. He arrived to Geneva and reached Elizabeth. They planned the wedding and married. They stayed at the hotel. Victor put his gun and went outside to search the monster. Suddenly, he listened some screams from his room. It was Elizabeth laid still on the bed, with the marks of the murderer's finger on his neck. Victor looked at the window. It was the monster smiling. He tried to kill him, but the monster ran away. Victor returned to Geneva and told his father what had happened. A few days later, he died of a broken heart. Victor spent the next 2 months in a madhouse. Then he came back into his right mind. He decided to find the evil creature and kill him. He searched the monster for days. The monster left messages telling him that he was going north. Victor followed him to the cold lands of the north. He brought dogs and a sledge. Victor chased him until he was able to reach him. Then a great storm started. The ice broke and the sea carried the monster away from him. Victor's sledge was broken and he was found by the Captain Walton.
Captain Walton, come here. You must promise to me to chase the monster. You must promise to me to kill him. Don't try to talk with him or argue. He's intelligent and he knows how to convince people. And perhaps you will start feeling sorry for him. But remember that he's evil. Remember he's a devil. Remember the deaths of William, Justin, the death of Henry, Elisa. And remember me, Victor Frankenstein. I know I only have a few hours of sleep right now, but I'm happy because I can feel my loved ones near me. Thank you for your kindness and for your help.
Victor died a few hours after he had written his last word. They left his body in a cabin. Later, Captain Walton listened a voice coming from the cabin.
So you are dead, Frankenstein? You were the last person I needed to kill. Now, I can die in peace. But please, forgive me. You just didn't love me.
It's too late for Frankenstein to forgive you. He is dead. His pain ended.
You don't know how unhappy I was. You don't know what I have suffered. I lived like an animal for years. But it doesn't matter. My death is near. I shall make a great fire, biggest fire of all time, to live in peace and die in peace.
The monster jumped from the cabin window as he did this. He got into the small boat in which he had reached the ship. The sea soon carried him away, and he was lost in the darkness. The end.
Thank you.
A big applause for 9th grade, please.
Ganamos la mundial, loco.